Hey everyone, today we're going to tackle a topic called dyslipidemia. I know, it sounds complicated, right? But it's a condition that affects millions of people, and honestly, a lot of them have no idea they even have it. So we're going to break it all down and, more importantly, talk about what you can actually do about it. You know that feeling? You get your blood test results back, you're staring at this piece of paper with letters like LDL, HDL, and you're just thinking, what does any of this really mean? Well, today, we're going to crack that code, because those numbers, they tell a super important story about what's going on with your heart. All right, first things first, what even is dyslipidemia? Let's get right into it and figure out exactly why you hear it called the silent problem. So the big thing to get here is that this isn't just about high cholesterol. That's kind of simplifying it. Dyslipidemia is really about an imbalance of the different kinds of fats that are floating around in your blood. It could mean some fats are way too high, or maybe one of the good ones is too low. Okay, here's a super easy way to think about it. Imagine your arteries are just pipes. Now the LDL, that's the bad cholesterol, it's like this sticky gunk that builds up inside and starts to clog those pipes. But then you've got HDL, the good cholesterol. Think of them as the professional cleanup crew. They literally come in and scrub that gunk away. So it's pretty simple, right? You want less gunk and a whole lot more of that cleanup crew to keep everything running smoothly. And it doesn't stop there. There's actually a third player in this game, triglycerides. Basically, these are a type of fat your body makes from extra calories you eat, but don't use right away, especially from sugary foods and carbs. Your body's like, well, I don't need this energy right now, so I'll just store it as fat. The problem is, when those levels get too high, it just adds another layer of risk to your health. So you might be wondering, okay, where does this all come from? It's a great question, because the answer falls into two main buckets, and this really helps explain why you sometimes see people who look super fit but still have high cholesterol. And this is a really, really important distinction. You've got primary dyslipidemia, which is basically inherited. It's in your genes, passed down from your family. Then you have secondary, which is, well, it's acquired. It comes from our lifestyle choices or other medical problems. So one is something you're born with, and the other is something that can develop along the way. Now, when we talk about the acquired type, this is where the good news comes in. Look at this list. Smoking, being overweight, not moving enough, a poor diet. These are all huge risk factors, for sure. But here's the empowering part. Every single one of these is something you can control. You have the power to change these things and directly improve your numbers. Of course, it's not all about lifestyle. There are other things that play a role. You can't stop getting older, right? And you can't change your family history. Plus, other conditions like type 2 diabetes or thyroid issues can definitely crank up your risk too. Okay, so let's get to the heart of it. If this thing is so silent and you don't feel any symptoms, why should you even care? What's the big deal? Well, that silence, that's exactly what makes it so dangerous. This is the absolute key. You could be walking around for years feeling totally fine while this plaque is slowly and silently building up in your arteries. You don't feel a thing. And that's why getting your cholesterol checked is so critical. A simple blood test can be like an early warning system, catching the problem before it turns into a real crisis. And look, here's how it all goes down. It's like a domino effect. First, you get too much of that bad LDL cholesterol. Then, that LDL starts sticking to your artery walls, forming plaque. Over time, that plaque gets bigger and harder, making your arteries narrower and less flexible. This can lead to serious stuff like coronary artery disease, or CAD, and peripheral artery disease, or PAD. And the end of that road, a much higher risk of a heart attack or a stroke. So think about this. By the time you actually feel something wrong, like that chest pain or your legs hurting when you walk, the damage is already done. It's pretty serious at that point. You're not feeling symptoms of high cholesterol. You're feeling the symptoms of the disease that the high cholesterol has caused. Okay, but it is not all doom and gloom. Not at all. The really good news is that this is a very manageable condition. So let's switch gears and talk about the most important part. What can we do about it? Let's start with what your doctor might prescribe. All right, so the big guns in fighting high cholesterol are usually medications called statins. You've probably heard of them. They're kind of the first line of defense for most doctors. They go right to the source, your liver, which is like the body's main cholesterol factory, and they tell it to just slow down production. But that's not all. They also help your liver grab more of the bad LDL that's already floating around in your blood. It's like a 1-2 punch that's super effective. Now, statins aren't the only option. If they're not a good fit for you, or if you need a little extra help, don't worry. Your doctor has other tools in the toolbox. These other meds work in different ways. Some stop you from absorbing cholesterol from food, some go after those triglycerides we talked about, but the end goal is always the same. Get those numbers back into a healthy zone.
But, and this is so important, medication is only half the battle. Seriously, it's a powerful tool, but it works way better when you pair it with some smart lifestyle changes. So let's talk about the other half of the solution, the part that you have direct control over.
It really boils down to these 4 things: a heart-healthy diet, regular exercise, keeping a healthy weight, and quitting smoking. This is your foundational plan. And the cool thing is, this stuff doesn't just help with your cholesterol. It boosts your entire health. It's like upgrading your body's personal defense system.
And when we talk about diet, let's be clear. This isn't about some crazy restrictive thing where you can't eat anything fun. It's all about making smart swaps. The idea is simple. Less of the stuff that causes problems, like saturated fats and a ton of sugar, and more of the good stuff, more fruits, veggies, lean protein, and whole grains. It's about crowding out the bad with the good.
So you've got these tools, right? You've got potential medications, you've got these powerful lifestyle changes. So what's the bottom line? What's the path forward if you get this diagnosis? Here's what I really want you to take away from all this. A diagnosis of dyslipidemia is not a life sentence. It's a call to action. It's a sign that it's time to take control. With the right game plan, that mix of medication and healthy living, you can absolutely manage this and slash your risk of future problems. And one last really important point. The key is consistency. It's so tempting, you know? Your numbers look great, you feel good, and you think, I'm cured, I can stop doing all this stuff. But for most people, this is a long-term thing. You have to stick with the plan. Following your doctor's advice and keeping up with those healthy habits is what keeps you protected over the long haul. So look, your health really is in your hands. We've talked about a lot today, but it all comes down to this. What's your next step going to be? Maybe it's finally scheduling that doctor's appointment. Maybe it's just deciding to take a walk after dinner tonight. Whatever it is, no matter how small it seems, the power to change your story starts right now.